Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're opening up a topic with a statistic that honestly just stopped me in my tracks.
Yeah, it's a rough one.
It really is.
Yeah.
Out of every single profession in America right now, construction and mining workers officially have the longest commutes.
Right.
We are talking about an average of over 33 minutes each way. That's a 41-mile round trip every single day just to get to the job site.
And that's just the average. I mean, we both know guys driving way further.
Exactly. And look, if you're a construction business owner trying to scale right now, you already know the physical toll the actual work takes on your crews.
Mm-hmm.
But we're realizing that the drive itself is quietly burning out your workforce before they even, put their hard hats on.
The fatigue factor is a serious operational liability. I mean, when you look at the fresh 2026 data we pulled for this discussion, it becomes really clear that transportation is this hidden systemic vulnerability in the industry.
Yeah.
Because replacing a single worker, it costs anywhere from 30% to 150% of their annual salary.
Which is wild. Yeah. And actually, while we were pulling the research for today, I was looking at some market intelligence from Smart Business Automator, and the turnover numbers it flagged made me do a double take.
I bet.
Yeah, overall construction turnover hit 68.2% in 2025. And if you filter that down to just the skilled trades, they are churning at an insane 73.1%.
That is massive. That encompasses recruiting, onboarding, the safety compliance, and all that substantial productivity loss you take while a new hire ramps up.
Right, so the premise we really want to explore today is, what if you could stop that bleeding just by changing how your crew gets to the job site? Is solving this commute problem basically the ultimate cheat code for beating the labor shortage?
I think it is, because the absurdity of the status quo is staring us right in the face.
It really is.
The rest of the corporate world has been actively solving the commute for years, treating it as an operational variable they can control. Meanwhile, the construction industry is still out here telling its guys, just figure out your own ride.
Yeah, it's like a completely different standard. I was reading through your notes on what the tech and retail giants are doing, and the scale is just wild.
Oh, it's massive.
Amazon is running over 200 shuttle buses, moving 20,000 riders a day, completely free for their employees.
Right, and they've saved 15 million vehicle trips doing that.
Exactly. Or look at Walmart. They partnered with a shuttle platform called Swoop and hit an 80% shuttle utilization rate at their distribution centers. But if I play the role of the skeptical contractor here,
sure.
Amazon and Walmart have billions to spend on HR and logistics. I look at those numbers and wonder how that translates to, say, a mid-sized electrical contractor whose highly skilled journeymen are burning their own gas to sit in an hour of traffic.
Well, the translation comes down to the retention data, not just corporate budgets. The analysis here is purely data-driven.
Okay, I'll lead out.
According to the surveys, 25.1% of workers explicitly cite transportation perks as a key retention tool. And if you look at the broader market, 18% of companies with over 500 employees are already providing these transportation benefits.
Wow.
So if a contractor ignores this, they're going to lose their best talent to industries that just make their lives easier. It's not about matching Amazon's fleet size, right? It's about matching the standard of care.
That makes total sense. And that sets us up perfectly to talk about the hottest sector right now, which is really amplifying this issue beyond anything we've seen. Data centers.
Oh, absolutely. The data center boom is changing everything.
Bank of America estimates there's going to be $611 billion in hyperscale data center spending across 2025 and 2026. This is a massive construction boom.
Right.
But from an operational standpoint, it seems like a logistical nightmare.
It is a nightmare. And the core friction here is a geographic mismatch.
Right.
These facilities, they require immense amounts of land and power, which means they're being built in deeply rural areas. Think Boardman, Oregon, or rural stretches of Wyoming. But the highly skilled workforce required to build them.
The master electricians, the pipe fitters.
Exactly. They live in urban centers. So you have projects demanding thousands of workers in zip codes where the local population is just a fraction of that.
That DataBank Red Oak campus in Texas perfectly illustrates this. I mean, by early 2026, they are projecting 4,000 to 5,000 workers on a single site.
It's a small city.
It is. And because of the labor shortage, some of these tradespeople are making massive money. We're talking 25% to 30% wage premiums. You've got concrete managers pulling in over $200,000 a year.
Yep.
But the kicker is, these highly paid professionals are losing 2 solid hours a day just commuting from the metro areas.
2 hours of just sitting behind the wheel.
Right. And we are seeing the exact same dynamic with the CHPS Act. That legislation created 102,000 construction jobs at these really remote semiconductor fabrication sites.
And the data from Smart Business Automator shows this geographic labor mismatch is becoming the primary bottleneck for these mega projects. Managing 4,000 workers driving their personal trucks onto a single rural job site creates safety and logistical challenges that are frankly absurd.
Just the parking alone.
Exactly. You have hours of lost productivity just navigating site traffic, trying to find parking in a makeshift dirt lot, shuffling crews through security gates. And underwriters are heavily scrutinizing the sheer liability of tired workers driving heavy-duty pickup trucks 2 hours home after a 10-hour shift.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because a contractor listening to you might be thinking, yeah, but buying a fleet of company vans sounds like capital suicide.
It used to be.
Right, historically, fleet vehicles were a massive drain. But the math has shifted dramatically. Walk me through the numbers on these new Sprinter vans, because the EV shock factor here is pretty crazy.
It really is. The financial calculus basically flipped in the last year. The 2025 electric e-Sprinter is actually cheaper than a traditional diesel crew van right now.
Which feels wrong to even say out loud.
Right. But look at the numbers. The e-Sprinter has a base price of $63,475, but with a $20,000 customer cash rebate valid through March 2026, the effective purchase price drops down to $43,475. Compare that to the traditional diesel version, which starts at over $53,000 before you even upfit it. The electric option is suddenly the fiscally conservative choice.
Okay, but I look at an electric van, and my immediate operational question is charging.
Sure.
If these data centers are in rural Wyoming or an undeveloped plot in Texas, where are they charging a fleet of vans? A temporary job site doesn't just have a bank of superchargers ready to go.
That is the operational hurdle. But the vehicle specs actually make it highly manageable. The e-Sprinter gives you a 206-mile range, and it charges from 10% to 80% in just 32 minutes.
Okay, that's fast.
Yeah. So for remote sites, contractors are either setting up temporary level 3 charging skids tied to the main generators, or they run the shuttle route from a central permanent company yard. The crews park their personal cars at the yard, get in the van, and the van does the rural highway leg.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And if we look at the broader savings, Enterprise runs a van pool program where participants save an average of $10,000 per person annually. That's 10 grand staying in your worker's pocket. And on the employer side, integrating modern fleet management software cuts fuel costs by 10% to 15% and drops maintenance costs by 25%.
It adds up fast.
It does. But beyond the vehicle costs, we need to talk about the government money.
Free money alert!
Seriously, the cash contractors are leaving on the table right now is staggering. For 2026, the federal pre-tax transit benefit is up to $340 a month per employee, plus another $340 for pre-tax parking. That is a combined $680 a month, tax-free per worker.
And the tax code is really just the baseline. The Federal Transit Administration just awarded $2.03 billion in low or no emission bus grants.
Zillion with a B.
With a B. This capital is flowing to regional transit agencies, and they are actively looking for major employers to partner with on dedicated shuttle routes.
And our research partners at Smart Business Automator spotted this. Early commuter benefits are rapidly shifting from being just a nice optional perk to be legally required.
Yes, the mandates are coming.
Take Illinois, for example. If you have 50 or more employees within a mile of a fixed route transit in the Regional Transportation Authority region, you are legally mandated to offer pre-tax transit benefits. And New York City, Washington, D.C., Seattle, L.A., they all have similar employer mandates on the books.
And it pays to look into localized incentives, too. Over in Indiana, the CERTA program offers a direct $50 per month van pool subsidy for every single rider.
Right.
And up in Canada, they have a policy allowing tradespeople to deduct up to $4,000 a year for temporary job travel.
That is a huge recruiting tool if a contractor knows how to pitch it. But having the vans and the tax breaks is really only half the battle.
The easy half.
Right. How do you actually get a rough and tumble construction crew to give up their personal pickup trucks and ride together? Here's where it gets really interesting, because we need to do a deep dive into the Walmart case study.
This is the absolute blueprint for execution, because Walmart didn't just buy a few vans, park them in a lot, and hope their warehouse workers would figure it out.
Right.
With their Swoop partnership, they deployed between 3 and 10 large 56-passenger charter buses at their distribution centers. But the real secret was the logistics. They used heat map technology to map out every single employee's home address for optimal routing.
That's brilliant.
They even hired dedicated on-site coordinators for each location, and the result? 80% utilization, and 89% of employees use the service at least once.
I want to contrast that success with a warning tale, though. Look at what happened in Solon, Ohio. The Cleveland RTA partnered with a platform called Share Mobility. It successfully cut commutes by 30 to 50 minutes each way.
Yeah.
But only 49 riders actually signed up.
49 riders for a 50-minute time savings.
Right. I look at that and wonder why. Was the app too confusing? Did workers feel unsafe leaving their cars in a dark lot at 5 a.m.?
Those factors play a role, but the postmortem revealed a more fundamental flaw. There is no heavy employer push. The employers treated it as a passive city service. They didn't champion it internally. The crucial takeaway for anyone listening is that employer-driven programs with active, pushy enrollment are the only ones that actually change habits.
You cannot just park an e-Sprinter in the yard and send an email about it. You have to sell the concept to your foreman and let them sell it to the crews.
Exactly.
If we zoom out and take a global perspective on this, the rest of the world is already operating on a completely different level. Take Australia's FIFO model, fly in, fly out. The employer handles the entire logistical chain: flights, buses, housing, meals.
And the scale is even more striking in the Middle East. Look at the NEOM project in Saudi Arabia. They're building construction villages for 30,000 workers.
Which is mind-blowing.
On a project of that magnitude, a staggering 25% of the total labor costs go strictly to transport, food, and flights. It is treated as critical infrastructure from day one.
And while we're talking about futuristic mega projects, the sci-fi future of transportation is actually happening right now. We have to talk about autonomous shuttles.
It's coming faster than people think.
A company called May Mobility is rolling out a 30-seat autonomous electric minibus. It will be road-ready in the first half of 2026.
And Beep just raised $52.7 million to ramp up production of their autonomous shuttles. For contractors wondering if delicate autonomous tech can survive a rugged job site, Volvo and Skanska already proved the concept at a Swedish quarry.
Oh, right, the Quarry project.
Yeah, they used fully electric and autonomous equipment and achieved a 98% carbon reduction while maintaining perfect operational safety. The technology works in heavy industry environments.
Okay, so we have the data, we have the autonomous tech, we have the government subsidies, but we have to talk about the reality on the ground when it comes to payroll and organized labor. How is organized labor handling this shift? If I have 6 union guys in a company van, when does the clock start? Am I paying hourly wages for them to sit in traffic?
Unions are actually quite ahead of the curve on this. Standard collective bargaining agreement language often explicitly dictates how this is handled. A very common standard clause states that if an employer provides transportation to a remote site, one leg of that trip is on the worker's time, and the return leg is on the employer's time.
That is a critical detail for planning a bid. You have to bake that paid drive time leg into your overhead projections.
Precisely. And we have to analyze this within the context of recent wage trends. In the first half of 2025, union settlements delivered an average 4.7% increase, and Smart TD just ratified an 18.77% wage increase over 5 years.
Those are significant jumps.
They are, and because hourly labor costs are rising, transportation provisions are increasingly becoming a central pillar of pre-job negotiations. It's a tangible quality of life benefit that can be a major factor at the negotiating table.
Right, it gives you options.
Right.
And to bring this deep dive back to reality for you, the listener, you don't have to be a multinational Cord to make this work.
Not at all.
Look at the RabbitWorks pilot program in central Pennsylvania. They provide dedicated van pools specifically targeting second and third shift workers in the industrial sector. It costs the individual riders just $40 a month. That covers the gas, the maintenance, the insurance, everything.
That example perfectly encapsulates the core lesson here. Every single metro area in the country has this commute problem. Workers are driving too far, absorbing the wear and tear, and arriving exhausted.
Yep.
The only question is whether you, the contractor, will solve it and win the labor war, or sit on your hands and wait.
I want to leave you with a final lingering question to mull over. If the daily commute is essentially the new frontier of worker compensation, what happens when the first contractor in your market starts offering guaranteed paid transit in an autonomous, Wi-Fi-enabled mobile break room?
That changes the whole game.
Will anyone still want to work for the company that makes them burn their own gas to sit in an hour of traffic? Think about how you can position your firm ahead of that curve. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive, and remember, keep scaling.